What is up YouTube? My name is Sam and I work under the artist name of Kaio. So I've been producing music for around about 4 years now, and I've been releasing music for just under 2 years. In that time, I've accumulated well over 1 million streams along with multiple editorial playlists. Thought it would be a good chance for me to do a video on some of the things that I think would be really helpful for new producers or beginner producers that are looking to expand their knowledge or possibly to start putting their music out there in the world. I know that when I was a new producer, I was really struggling with a couple of these things, and I thought it would be helpful to just put them all together in this video. And do stick around for the end because there is a little bonus tip that I've stuck in there as well. So let's jump into this. This is my top 5 tips for beginner producers. So the first tip, and this is probably the one that you'll see in a lot of these videos, and that is just get started. Download any DAW on your computer and just start having a play around. There is a ton of different options. I myself use FL Studio, and they do have a free version that you can download and pretty much do everything with. You don't get all of the plugins, but you do get a good range and a good chance to have a play around with it. I believe that Ableton also has a similar thing. There's also Pro Tools, Logic if you're on Apple, there's Reaper, Cubase, a whole ton of DAWs that you can download. The best tip really is to just get started. Download one, have a play around, see what you like, see what you don't like, download multiple, have a play around with FL, have a play around with Ableton, and just kind of get stuck in. And the other thing on the back of that, don't get hung up on equipment, money, computers, anything like that. Just get started. When I started, all I had was my old laptop and these Apple headphones, and that was it. You'll see lots of producers on YouTube. They have monitors and multiple screens and MacBooks, good cameras, nice microphones, big interfaces, all of these things. You don't need them when you're just getting started. The most important thing is to just jump into it, start learning the basics and get into your DAW. And then if this is something that you do want to invest your time into, that's when you can start building up your studio. I think the first thing that I bought was a good set of headphones. I have the Audio-Technica M40X and they are great. They're a fairly budget option. But if you want to know more about what I have in my studio, I do have a video. I'll link that up here somewhere and you can check that out as well. Tip number 2, when you start producing, don't just start clicking around. That's fine the first day, but it's really important to have a goal and have a vision for what you're going for. Now, when I started producing, I'd been playing in bands and making music. I'd been playing bass, been trying to play guitar for a little while, and it was really about me learning how to create something entirely myself. That's what I started doing, but really have a goal in mind. That doesn't necessarily mean the type of music that you want to make, but more about why you're doing this and why you're starting to produce. Like I said, I just wanted to have control over the whole process. So have a think about what your goal might be. Tip number 3, copy and imitate. And what I mean by that isn't to listen to music and try and copy it exactly the same way that it's made, but listen to things that inspire you, have some influences, try to understand how they've built their tracks. You're getting into music production, you need to start listening to the production of tracks, and a great way to do that is to listen to the music that you love, because you'll be inspired and you'll be more heavily influenced by the stuff that you really love. Take a listen to those tracks, hear how they're arranged, hear how the beats build up and break down, and then try to imitate that in your track. If you are really struggling, especially at the start, there is no problem going on Google, finding out what those chords are, and then using those as a starting point. As long as you don't replicate an entire song by copying it, there is no problem being influenced. And especially in those early days when you're learning how to produce, trying to figure out how to recreate tracks you love. Tip number 4, and this is a big one, always finish your tracks. And what I mean by this is, even if you don't really love the track that you're making, try and finish the whole track. What that's going to mean is that you're learning the process, you're learning how to mix, you're learning how to master. You're not just writing, you're doing it all. And then when you do write something that you really like, you already sort of know how to do that stuff, and that means it's going to be a lot easier for you to start mixing and mastering when you get to that point. And when you get further down the line, you might be producing multiple tracks a week, multiple tracks a month that you really love. You don't want to have to start learning how to mix and master at that point. You want to already be there so that you can just do it. Finish your tracks. That's a really important one. It's all good experience for you as a music producer. And tip number 5, learn and educate yourself. If you don't have any prior knowledge of music theory, or how to arrange, watch YouTube videos. Find producers, find musicians, find people on YouTube and follow them. Watch how they produce, especially if you can find someone that works in the same DAW as you, because you'll pick up all kinds of tips and tricks from them. But even if you can't, find producers on YouTube and follow them. A couple of my favorites are Eldre, Ocean, Simon Zavida and Kyle Beats. Now, you'll notice there that only one of those makes lo-fi beats. That's absolutely fine. You will be learning a ton just by watching people produce, picking up tips, seeing how they arrange, getting ideas on how they stick things together, and all of that is good knowledge for you to just absorb, learn, educate, and just kind of get stuck into it. Follow people on Instagram, follow people on TikTok that are doing a similar thing or doing something that you want to do. Another really helpful tip is to follow pages on socials that are dedicated to the DAW that you use. So I was following FL Studio Tips and Tricks on Instagram, and you'd pick up all these little shortcuts and all these little things that might help your workflow. It's just really great because it's all good knowledge that's going to help you, even if it's not in your genre, it's going to help you in your workflows. And off the back of that, here is a little bonus tip. Don't limit what you're listening to, what you're watching, what you're absorbing. Even if you are mainly focused on making lo-fi beats, even if you're mainly focused on making drill beats or pop beats or whatever, don't limit yourself to only those genres, because what that's going to mean is that you're not gaining all this extra knowledge from other genres. Yes, I make lo-fi beats, but like I said, I'm watching people in other genres, I'm listening to music in other genres, because you'll pick up all these little tips and tricks that maybe you wouldn't pick up if you just stuck to your one genre. And then you might be able to add those things into your music, and that might be the thing that sets your music apart from the rest and then helps you blow up even further. Those are my 5 tips for beginner producers. If you have any other tips, chuck them in the comments. Let's make this a hub for beginner producers to come, so they can not only get my tips but get your tips as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you are a beginner producer, drop a comment on this video and subscribe. I upload beat breakdowns and FL Studio tutorials on my channel every single week. And if you are a beginner producer, do drop a comment on this video and let me know what it is that you're producing. And if you have got any music out, let me know. Give me a link to Spotify or to your socials and I'll come and I'll check it out. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.